What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Sanchez 405 coming at you. It's on the Warpath. We're live today. We're doing the first time I have an opportunity to do a Q&A with somebody. We've got Nati here from DMVSportsZone. You can follow him on Twitter at DMVSportsZone as well. Welcome, man. It's a pleasure to have you on here and getting a chit chat with you for the next hour or so and talking about the Skins or the Washington football team, however we want to call it. Yeah. So how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. It's been a long day, but thank you so much for having me on. I love talking about everything Redskins or Washington football, and I grew up in the DMV. I've been here all my life. I'm currently a college student in Chicago, but this is my home. This will always be my home. So just glad to be on and glad to get into this discussion and talk about our team.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And before we get started, I have got a couple of housekeeping things that I need to take care of real quick. Shout out to Mountain Genetics. That is Eric and Samantha. They subscribe to the channel, and I actually got some cards from Eric and a pretty nice note. I bought some cards off him, but he sent more than what I expected, so I appreciate it. Got Daryl Green, got Art Monk in here, Rippin, Ricky Sanders, and Desmond Howard. I don't know about that. Ernest Biner. So we got a lot of these sets. He sent a real nice note too, and then surprised me with the all-time leading sack leader in Redskins history with Dexter Manley. So really appreciate that. That meant a lot. He didn't have to do that. So add that extra touch to it is Southern hospitality at its finest. So appreciate you guys and doing that for me. So yeah, but we are here and we are talking about everything burgundy and gold. As Doc Walker would call it, he doesn't say the R word anymore. I'm going to slip up and say it just because, and it's not meant in malicious intent. Yeah, and subscribe to Nati as well. His link is in the comments. I tried to get it to where it would click and subscribe to you, but it went to your about page on there. So yes. I'm sorry about that, but I'll get that fixed. So really, just what's up, Yemi? What's up, Braden? What's up, Dubs? Redskins diehard fans, split Zizzery. How y'all doing? So the biggest thing is this last month, the month of July will be probably go down as the worst month in the history of the burgundy and gold. Like there is no question about this. It's like the Raiders beat us three consecutive times in the Super Bowl, and Marcus Allen just couldn't stop running. But all joking aside, what are your thoughts on the last last 4 weeks of what was formerly the Redskins and everything that's going on?
I mean, technically, it's still the Redskins, right? They won't retire the name until after the investigation's over with. But it's been a whirlwind the last couple of weeks. And, it started with July 3rd, that message that was posted on the Twitter page saying that they're going to be reviewing the name, even though they pretty much knew what was going to be the end result and then ultimately changing it. And that was hard. We grew up as Redskins fans, and that's pretty much all we knew, for a good part of our lives. And it's sad to see the name change, but at the same time, this is the time for social change. This is a time where a lot of things are rolling, the ball is really rolling in a lot of aspects. So it's changing. We can't really do anything about it. And right now we're just throwing out name ideas. And I liked Red Spears early on, but now I've sort of come on the Red Wolves bandwagon. So hopefully maybe could change it there, but I think the Warriors are still the front runners there. But we also had the allegations that were put out in the Washington Post article posted last week, and a lot of serious allegations. And man, we just can't catch a break, right? As Redskins fans, there's just something wrong with this organization, time in and time out. And we did hire Julie Donaldson, who's a great hire for our organization. I think she's heading the media or the marketing for the organization. Yeah. So that's a great hire, but at the same time, can't really erase, what's going on in the last couple of weeks. So hopefully with training camp coming in the season, fingers crossed, coming in a couple of weeks, couple months, we'll start talking about football. But this discussion is a start, though.
Right, exactly. I hate drama, like I really do, but it just seems like with the last 3 or 4 videos I've done have been about drama, because that's what the team has been focused around, all the negativity. And you put up a strong video that I watched earlier about this, and I think we feel the same way. There is a there's like a stigma, and you said there's a problem. The problem is up at the top. It's Dan Snyder. It's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I remember, exactly. He needs to be forced to sell the team. And I don't care who it is at this point. People say Jeff Bezos. I really want somebody that's local. That's the one plus I can say about Dan Snyder is he was local. He was from Maryland. I've spitballed some people. I said, Sheila Johnson, who was a owner of the Mystics and part owner of the Wizards. I thought maybe she might be good to lead a group in there. But it just seems like we keep on shooting ourselves in the foot, and that's the reason why. The Redskins are the reason why we have gun control in this country, if you really want to look at it, because no team constantly shoots themselves in the foot than Washington. It's easy to make a joke about us. It's easy to, South Park had a whole episode about the joke that was the Redskins, man. So it's like, I've gotten to the point where I said, well, the name change is coming, whatever, because at the end of the day, I want to defend this team on its merits and what they do on the field, not what they're doing behind closed doors, because we know this stuff is going on. You know what I mean? Like it's not anything new. Just look at what happened with Woody Johnson, who's an ambassador to the United Nations. Not United Nations, but to the UK. So, we've seen this. This happens all the time, and it happens in corporate America, public schools, private schools. If you work on 11, it all happens there. So I got a couple of comments here. The Washington Red Bottom Stilettos, Redskins rant, JD, check him out. I saw a post the other day on Facebook. It was for Will Smith and said the name, name me for the moment. Oh my God. So the Washington entanglements, that you had as sad as Will Smith in the picture. And oh my gosh, 87 Super Bowl at 7 years old. It's my first memories. Barack Obama's power can match the other owners' wallets. Well, yeah. But no, I mean, you talk about Julie Donaldson too, and you talk about that being a good hire. Who do you want to see in the radio booth for the Redskins coming up this season? I mean, we got a lot of good voices in DC. Who would you prefer to be in there?
That's tough. I know Chris Cooley has sort of been a name that's been thrown around, and I think he's a great analyst. I don't know if he should be like, the main guy in the booth, but I know my top 2 contenders for me are probably Steve Buckhantz, because I still think MC Sports Washington, CSN did him wrong in some sort of way, and he should still be leading the Wizards broadcast at this point. But Chick Hernandez, another guy from NBC Sports Washington, could really do a good job, and he's from the area. He's a loyal fan. He's always been a fan. Like, he's tried to hide that on the pre and post game shows, but he's always been a fan. So I think those are probably my 2 favorite contenders for the spot, but it's all up to Donaldson, right? She's the one who's hiring the person. So I'm right there with you. I said Buckhantz 1, Chick 2, and that's really like that's close. That's comparing apples to oranges in my opinion. Frank Hanrahan, who's done a little bit of the Mystics. I don't know what he could do on football, but I know he's covered this team in the past before. So I mean, it's going to be interesting to see
who comes out there and what kind of excitement. Because say what you want to about Larry Michael, I've never been excited to hear him on the radio. Never. There's never been an air of excitement from him. So, I like Buck Hansen Chick as well. That's who you stole my two. So I had to throw Frank Hanrahan in there just to see him come back on there. Let's see here. Like Riggins, but non-PC for most of these betas. What's up? What's up, AM Hunter? AM Hunter saying, what's up to everybody? Good supporter there. So outside of the drama, there were some good things that happened. There were some good things. Talk about Ron Rivera coming in here. What do you expect out of Ron Rivera in his first season and the coaching staff? We think of the coaching staff that he's put together.
Man, Ron Rivera is like a breath of fresh air. Like every time I hear him talk, every time I hear him anywhere talking about our team, like it's just crazy. I think he's a great hire. He was a great hire. He will continue to be a great hire. And I don't see his first year being like super successful. I think we'll probably go somewhere between 6-10 to like 8-8. But I think with another offseason next year with a boatload of cap room, with Jalen Ramsey and a lot of good free agent wide receiver options on the market, and not a lot of people talk about those, but like Kenny Golladay, even Juju Smith-Schuster, hopefully having a bounce back year. I think we are sort of like 1 year away from being really good, but I think in terms of organizationally and bringing that culture, Ron Rivera is the right man for the job, and we've sort of seen that over the last month and a half of chaos that's transpired and all that. So I think Ron Rivera is, again, like the right man, and I think fingers crossed, one day he'll lead us to the promised land. We'll see.
Yeah, I thought this was a good hire from the beginning. I remember when they fired him after we beat them, and I put on Twitter, I was like, this makes sense. They need to take a look at him. And I was just spitballing. I wasn't like I wasn't like on the Ron Rivera train or anything like that. I was just like, this would be a good hire. This would be somebody that you can come out there. I was like either him or Eric Bieniemy. It didn't really matter to me, but I thought those two guys, because Bieniemy deserves the opportunity, what he's done with Pat Mahomes, and then Ron Rivera, he just has that track record. And,
I don't know how Bieniemy doesn't have a job yet. Like he's been producing like good offenses the last couple of years, even beyond like Mahomes and stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah, right. My good friend Double D, he's saying MVP, Haskins MVP, Rivera Coach of the Year, DC NFC East champs. He's being a little facetious though, because he got on Juan Gotti's case with the MVP for Haskins right there. But yeah, I think you're right though. Ron is going to has an opportunity at his hands to be really good, to be really good and get this team in there. It's just been at a disadvantage with COVID, and I don't think it's practical to say this team is going to be 10-6, 11-5. I think you have to have a lot of things go right, and a lot of things. It's going to have to be like 2015. A lot of things go right for you. You stay healthy, and then the other teams in the East, their quarterbacks get hurt. They have a little internal strife. I think that sets up successful for this team. But yeah, I like it. What about the assistant coaches? Bringing in Scott Turner, Jack Del Rio. Talk about those guys. What do you think? What do you think they're going to bring to this table, especially with Turner working with Haskins? How do you think that's going to work out in this new Air Coryell system?
Yeah, I think Turner was also a great hire. We saw sort of like the things that he did last year with Carolina and McCaffrey, and I think while he will help Haskins definitely improve and hopefully be that quarterback for the future for us, I think more so with the running back core, like everything he's done with running backs in the past, again with McCaffrey, I'm really excited there. We have Gibson, we just drafted in the 3rd round, and he reminds me a lot of Kamara and Alvin Kamara from the New Orleans Saints, and not just because he was drafted in the 3rd round, same sort of area in the draft, but he's a really good back, and he offers a lot of pass catching ability, and I really like that, and I think Scott Turner can do wonders with him in this offense. And we also have Adrian Peterson, the wily veteran, still there at age 36, 50, I don't know at this point, but he's still there. He's still producing. We have Darius Guice, who hopefully will have a bounce back season. So I'm looking forward to Scott Turner doing some magic with that offense this year. And on defense, Jack Del Rio, another great hire. I think every single time, he's coached in the league, he's always had like a top defense, whether it be in Oakland, Jacksonville, so on and so forth. So looking forward to him turning around that defense that already had a lot of talent, but coaching was always the problem, in my opinion. So, and then we got Chase Young too. So
right,
it's gonna be a scary defense if in no time.
Yeah. Being this was said, Ron Rivera will get the coach of the year just for cleaning up our organization, even if he goes 5-11. If that's not the truest statement I've seen today, I don't know what is. And it's going to be a crapshoot. It's going to be like this NBA and NHL and Major League Baseball re-up. You really don't know what you're going to get because there are a lot of teams. This is going to be, I think this season is going to start late. I don't think we're going to start in September. I think we might start in October, something like that. That's just me spitballing. But I think the teams that are quick starters will be at an advantage because you're going to have a smaller sample size. Like Washington for years used to start out kind of quick. We used to maybe like be 3-2, 4-2, and then the bottom would fall out, especially the last 2 out of 3 years with Jay. They were pretty good, but then and my buddy Double D, he said the same. He's like more so than ever, injuries are going to determine the NFL because there's no accountability to these guys. We see the workout video, but how hard are they actually going? They're not in that controlled environment. So I just don't know how that's going to happen, but I think we're going to see a lot of injuries, a lot of major injuries. Granted, I hope that doesn't happen to us because we've been taking our lumps in the mental and moral injury category.
Yeah. I'm also like worried about like the rookies, right? Who don't really have a much seasoning, much time in the league. And I'm not as worried for Chase Young, obviously, because he's a monster already and he should be a superstar for us right away. But for other rookies, Antonio Gibson, who might need some more time on, the playing field, might need some more time with Scott Turner making some plays for him. And, some other rookies, Sadiq Charles, who we want to be our starting left tackle for the future, but who knows? He hasn't really got much time off the season. They're just coming back to training camp. So, yeah, I'm a little worried there.
Yeah, it's going to be wild. And then I really, honestly, you can't discredit you talk about the running backs and everything. There's one guy who's really going into his rookie season. And I say this because Jimmy's here, but Bryce Love, we can't forget about this cat because this cat was a straight unmitigated dog at Stanford. And he's that dual threat running back, a running back that you've seen that's been very successful. And I think we can I think he could make the difference there, and he could take advantage of a short time. But like you said, these rookies, the undrafted rookies that we have, that headlines by Thaddeus Moss, Steven Montez, and those 2 wide receivers as well. They're going to be behind the 8 ball, especially if you're a wide receiver with as much talent as we have.
Yeah, I'm really worried about Thaddeus Moss, especially because like our tight end group is just so atrocious right now, in my opinion. And we want Moss to be that guy for us for the future, and for him to have a short off season, being undrafted free agent, it's gonna be tough sledding for him this season.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, I think so. But I think he can make it on there if he shows a little bit of talent at tight end, but then he can show his value on short, like goal to go and as a fullback and everything, and taking Ryan Anderson out of that spot and being like your H-back. I think he'll add his value right there, because we saw this running game got a lot better at the end of the season when they actually signed Michael Burton and they actually had an extra blocker. They weren't running these single backs. They were these offset eyes and all that good stuff. So I really I really think that's where Thad Moss can make his mark in the NFL.
Yeah.
And we talked about the rookies and everything. I know you probably say this, but who was your favorite draft pick outside of Chase Young, and why, and what value do you see them adding to it?
Favorite draft pick probably be, kind of mentioned him earlier, but Antonio Gibson. I just think Scott Turner again will do wonders with him, and he is that Kamara sort of back for us. And Alvin Kamara's been a Pro Bowler, near All Pro for a couple seasons now. So I don't know if we'll see that out of him, but Gibson does offer that dual threat ability. He didn't produce much in college, but every single time he produced, he had touchdowns. Right? I think there were he had like 14 touchdowns on like 88 touches or something like that. Like that's absurd. And I think even though he's coming from Memphis, which isn't necessarily the big time school, I think he will do really good things for us this year, even in his rookie year.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. He was one of my favorites outside of AGG, just because he went to a college in Virginia.
Yeah.
That's why I really. But just what he could do, he can. I think he could make his bread and butter in on special teams as well too, because he had a kickoff return for a touchdown, and he reminds you of J.D. McKissick, who's on the team already. So I think that they're going to have a lot of to make Dwayne successful. A lot of these screen passes, a lot of these dump off passes, short yardage to make him successful. He's going to be a yak yardage quarterback, and then when the defense gets a little comfortable and starts getting a little greedy across line, that's when he's going to start killing you. Boom, Terry McLaurin. Boom, you got AGG there. You would have had Kelvin Harmon. And that brings me to another sad point, because I really wanted to see this. I wanted to see this brother win. And what do you do in that situation? Do you bring somebody in, or do you say, hey, we got it. We got folks here on the team already. Let's see what they got. What would you do if you're the general manager, or you're Ron Rivera saying, like, do we bring somebody in? And if so, who would you bring in?
So if it wasn't for like this virus shortened off season, I would say just go with the young guys. I would go with Ron Rivera's approach. You don't want to stunt your young guys' growth, and AGG does offer a lot of potential, as you sort of touched on, and I think he will be a wide receiver too for the future. But with this short off season, with AGG probably not going to be ready, especially coming from a small school like Liberty, like. I think we might have to go after a free agent receiver. I think maybe, I know people want to bring this up, and he has a lot of baggage with him, but Antonio Brown, maybe? I don't know. I mean, I know he has a lot of baggage with him, and he even said he was. Yeah,
I can't look at you. I can't look at you right now.
I'm not saying he would be my favorite guy. I'm not saying he would be my favorite guy to go after. I'm just saying he is still technically kind of out there, so maybe we could go after him. Josh Gordon, I think, would be a better option, especially with the NFL not really testing for weed anymore, and we won't have to worry about too many suspensions out of him, I think, in the near future. So, and Demaryius Thomas, if we want to look after someone who is just offering that veteran presence for us and not maybe that high end of production, I think we could go after him. And but I think the smart play would be to go after a veteran receiver, but then again, I trust whatever Ron Rivera does. So if we don't, it's fine.
Yeah. I always said, like, I like Josh Gordon just for the fact that his best season came with Scott Turner as his wide receivers coach in Cleveland. So what has Scott been able to get out of Josh that Josh McDaniels couldn't get out of him, that Seattle couldn't get out of him? Like, what is it that Scott Turner does that's relatable to him, that kept him out of trouble and everything? I don't know what it is, but that's who I'd go to. And, they're loosening weed laws in Virginia. What I do is, you got a toxic culture already at Redskins Park that you're trying to improve. Just find the best weed dealer in Loudoun County. Say, hey, we need you to do a shipment to Redskins Park or Washington Football Park and give it to the security guard. As for Josh, you can only smoke it on the campus here. If you go out, just don't smoke it there. We terminate your contract. At that point, but I think he would be good. He's got the frame, and I think he would be in the proper. He'd be with the proper coaching staff that can get the most out of him in that respect. Yeah. We got a few comments here, so I'm gonna go back and scroll up because y'all know I love to read these comments. Let's see. We were at AM Hunter. No, wow, I didn't read that, man. B. Nizzle, he said that's why I'm making jokes now because when football starts, it's riverboat time. I hear you, bro. He should be getting an AM Hunter said Ron should be getting votes now. Now we understand why Marty didn't mesh with Dan. Anna, the first lady of the channel, she said don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you, Anna. Niz, smash like button. Big Simple, we lit. I can't do that like Big Simple, but Yimmy up in here. AM Hunter, he said it'll probably be a shortened season without preseason. More injuries could occur, and our rookies and UDFAs will not progress as fast. Right? B Nizzle, great supporter, really is. He said he wants to see this channel succeed, and I want to see Nati succeed. So if you haven't already, make sure you go and sub this brother up because he's got great content.
Appreciate it.
Gibson will be a factor. That's right, B-Niz. What's up, Franklin? Dubs is with AB. Braden, yeah, AB did just retire.
Technically.
Yeah. B-Nizzle. He said, hell, I'm trying to hang out with Josh Gordon if he signs that deal. I'm telling you, dude, he can get me. Look, I'll be his agent, and I'll be like, look, we just need a bunch of dope for the season, and he'd be good. What's up, Skins fan? Franklin, Ricky, what's up, HCTR? And, yep, Mountain Genetics said they just subscribed to you, and that's our comment so far. So we kind of even we kind of meshed you kind of ate up my questions because we were so organic with it. But and if y'all have questions for us, that are relating to the team, please let us know. How can, and going back to what we talked about earlier, what can this team do? We've got Ron Rivera now. What does this team need to do to bounce back to credibility? Outside of winning, because we know that cures everything. But what can the Washington football team, Redskins, do to become credible again? Outside of winning, what do you need? Because winning is just the outside surface. There's a lot to go into that. And what steps encourage you that they're doing it, and what steps are kind of discouraging or concerning in your eyes?
Yeah, even though I think winning sort of cures everything, honestly. I do think, first off, just making the right hires, and we've sort of seen that with Julie Donaldson, and I don't know if we really seen that with the other guy that we just hired, Dan Snyder's sort of close friend who worked actually with the organization. Yeah, Bateman. I don't know. People say he's part of the old generation, old sort of era of Redskins football, so I don't know if he's a great hire, but I think just continuing with those hires, and also, I mean, the obvious, right? The name, right? We need to make sure that we find a name that all of us fans could really rally around, and something that won't be super generic, but also something that won't be, totally out there that, again, we can't really rally behind. So I think those two things, and just doing the right thing. I'm tired of us just being the laughing stock of the entire NFL. We're sort of like the Knicks, right, of the NFL. And, it's atrocious. And I don't think it's really realistic to see Dan Snyder being forced to sell at this point. So having said that, I just think we need to take those right steps, the hires, the name being really inclusive of everyone. And I think social media, marketing the team really well is something that's big. We just hired a new social media team, I think, early this year, and they've been great so far. So just making sure we support them. And I think those are sort of the small things that could amount to like big change down the line. So.
Right. Yeah. No, I think you're absolutely correct there. I think Julie Donaldson is a good hire. I've met her at the last game. And she was very warm and embracing to the fans and everything like that.
Yeah.
And you can tell something. Now, I did read a story, so I want y'all to check because y'all know Sanchez does his homework. There's a story that back in 2006, when she was working for the Mets, she was spitting game at David Wright. So I think she fits in at Redskins part. I'm just saying, go check that out. I about died when I read the article, and like she got reassigned on the Mets broadcast or something for a week.
Oh no!
It was So I think she can deal with these boys, and she gonna let them tramp. I don't think she's gonna let that boys club trample her down. I got mad props to her for even trying to spit that game out there to David Wright, one of the greatest Mets. So I think they hired, like you said, the social media team, who Ron Rivera's daughter is in that social media team as well. And I think they've done a great job, especially early on when he got hired. They seemed like they were more engaging the fans, and you could just tell there hasn't been, there wasn't a little bit of nonsense. They were very friendly. I think that the key part about bouncing back is I'm not a fan of this Terry Bateman hire at all. He was with the Redskins before, and now he's back. I think he was like the president of Snyder Communications. So to me, that sends up a big burgundy and gold flag right there. And I don't know what he's going to do, but he's in charge of leading the charge for the name change. And there was Redskins Twitter lost its mind today over the DC Sentinels, and I know it's from the replacements, and I've watched the replacements and all that stuff. But the thing that I thought of, my comic book mind like got into me, and I was thinking of the X-Men, the mutant hunting robots. And every time, because you think about it, Zeke's a mutant, Saquon's a mutant, pretty much. They do a whole bunch of everything, and we could just be like, stop, mutant, and just take them down, hunt them down. So I did
see Kime shoot that down right early in the day. John Kime.
The Kimester. I like John. I like John Kime. He was just like, he just told everybody to shut the F up and have a Coke and smile. That's not gonna be the name. But you said you like Red Wolves, and then you said that but you think it'll probably be eventually Warriors. What would be a contingency name for you that like if it wasn't Warriors and it wasn't Red Wolves, what would be a good name that you think that will work for this team?
Although I don't may not like the sound of the name, I think the Red Tails, just because of that really good history. It's pretty much the only name out there that has like a lot of significance behind it. The Tuskegee Airmen and stuff. So I would probably go with the Red Tails as sort of like another option that I would be pretty happy about, and not something like Warriors, which would just be generic. And I hate Golden State, so it's going to take some time for me getting used to us being named the Warriors, my favorite team. So yeah.
Yeah, we've got a joke on Skins Fan all day on his channel that if they change it to Red Tails, he's going to be Tails Fan all day. And I just call them the Red Asses if that's the case. So then that would probably – I love the history behind it, but it just like, living in Nova, everybody has like – everybody's got a drunk uncle that comes to the cookout. Everybody's got a Dallas Cowboys fan that's never been to Dallas that would be making jokes, right? Boy, we got y'all this time. We spanked them Red Tails red again. So, that's what I'm thinking about. It's like naming a kid. You're thinking about like I don't really want to name. I don't want to name him that, or I don't want to name her that, because what would the kids? What kind of jokes would they say? Yeah, the history is great behind Red Tails. I can't really get behind it. Just the name, I can't get behind the name. The history is great. I liked somebody. I think B Nizzle was you. Didn't you say the Washington Revolt? That was a good one. But the Renegade, I could deal with the Renegades if I had to. Yeah. I mean, it does sound like an 80s hair band, but at the end of the day, I'm about winning games. We could be the Washington Bootlickers, and if we're winning games, I don't care. Let's see here. So, and this is a good question right here. It's more of a statement. Outlaw King John Lynch, he said, I think our offense will struggle this year. What do you expect out of the offense? Do you see struggles? How long the struggles are going to be? What's a stat line you can predict for Dwayne Haskins?
Like I said earlier, I think we are a year away, and that includes the offense. I think we will sort of struggle, especially because of the fact that we have a new coaching staff and we have a super young quarterback going to his second year who didn't have the best of years last year, but even though we sort of, I think we agree that, we see some improvement out of him this year, like it's going to be off season. And I think it just starts there, right? For the offense, the quarterback play. And I think for Dwayne Haskins, maybe he gives you 3,600 yards, 22 touchdowns, 11 picks, something like that. I could see a pretty good year from him this year, but I mean, we have Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry, who is a monster and will continue to be a monster. I think he'll be a top 10 receiver in the league in no time. But outside of him, we have some good running backs. We sort of touched on that. Antonio Gibson, Adrian Peterson, Darius Guice, if he stays healthy, right. And Bryce Love. But the line is still a problem. We have Brandon Sheriff, and Roulier, who's a pretty solid center. But outside of that, Mr. 10-yard penalty holding himself, Morgan Moses, is on the right side. And at left guard, we have Wes Martin, who could be pretty good for us. We'll see. Sadiq Charles could even move over to left guard, but short off season again, kind of problematic there. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think the line is going to be pretty problematic.
Yeah, I think the right side is going to be all right. The offensive line coach, it's either the offensive line coach or the tight ends coach that worked with Joe Bugle in Phoenix when they with the Cardinals when he was the head coach. So I think it was Honer, but it might have been Matsko. I'm not sure. I have to double check that. So they've got a good experience. They've got a good coach, and you don't really see that too often with the offensive line coach. Either you're going to dip down or you're going to go way up. I think I think we got a good offensive line coach who probably is going to be better than Bill Callahan was, or what his record says thus far. Let's see. Yemi says hell goes to to Red Tails, I'm assuming. Manfred Core Axe Core says, hi fellas, thanks for your hard work and appreciate y'all. Appreciate you too. Mount Genetic said every damn fam's got a Cowboy fan. That's true. We call him Cousin Troy where I'm from. Yeah, unfortunately, the meme culture we live in, there's too many possibilities with Red Tails. That was from Manfred. How about the Red Hawks? I can deal with the Red Hawks. That's actually, Ohio, Miami of Ohio, they were the Redskins back in the 90s, and they transferred that over to Red Hawks. So I don't know if they hold the trademark to that, kind of like Arkansas State holds with the Red Wolves. I don't really know. Dub said they used to call us foreskins. Bump that, like, and share it. That's right. Get it to 50 watching. We got a lot up in here. We had like 300 and some people up in here at one time earlier. So I don't know if that was the bots. Manfred said, I'll show this one. That's a good stat line for Haskins.
INTs are kind of high, but yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. 5-yard penalties, replay the down, second down from Moses. Don't call Oh, and Dubs, he says, don't call Terry that because it's scary Larry now. Talk about Larry Michael.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Mountain Genetics gave the stat line 3,700, 29 touchdowns, 14 INTs. Okay. And no S. It was Larry Michaels. All right, get off of my boy Morgan. Yimmy says that Morgan needs to go move inside to guard, putting him at
maybe you could improve there.
Tackle spot. I always remember that. Fun fact: the man who trained the Tuskegee Airmen was adopted and raised by Mr. Rogers' parents. Oh, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. But shoot, I forgot where I was at reading all these questions. Let's see here. I mean, people. Why are people doubting Dwayne? That's what I want to. Outside of the obvious, why are people doubting Dwayne Haskins? In your opinion?
I think people are doubting Dwayne Haskins because of the fact that, his stat line, 7 touchdowns, 7 picks, was not too hot. But they forget the fact that he had 4 interceptions, I think, to start the season. But he went 7-3 in terms of his touchdown INT ratio towards the end. So I don't know, man. I think a lot of people, it's sad to say, but a lot of people may not like his attitude, may not like, him posting a bunch like on Instagram and stuff. And I don't really have a problem with it, but maybe some people think that's sort of problematic. I don't know how, but and then there's also Giants fans, right, who are all for Daniel Jones, allegedly, right? Like early on, they were on the Dwayne Haskins hype train. They wanted him just like they wanted Chase Young, and all of a sudden, once he becomes a Redskin or Washington football player, they don't like him anymore. So I guess that sort of contributed to all the hate I guess he's getting right now. But I think largely because of the stat line.
There's a fun fact with the New York Giants, and I went through the history banks, and so if any time a Giants fan ever says the Redskins were a racist team and all this stuff, do you know there's only been one black guy that started at quarterback for the Giants? You know who that was?
Geno Smith.
Yeah. Geno Smith in 2017. Yeah. The Giants have been around for 90 plus years until 2017 when he broke Eli Manning's streak. So that's a fun fact that you can take to trivia night one day. Let's see here. A.M. Hunter said Eleanor Holmes Norton will bring our team back to DC, and hopefully we can come to an agreement with the park services, a new lease to build the stadium at ORFK, Amazon Field, and Wolf Park. Yeah, I mean, I'm cool with that, but I don't know if you know this, but I was listening to Kevin Sheehan and Tom Lavera one day, and that they said the stadium, and they hide behind the name as a problem why they couldn't get the stadium. Yeah, it never was a done deal. And then when that guy, I can't think of what his name was, left the DC board and the DC Town Council, it was done. They hadn't talked about it in 6 months. So, and they're talking about people in the area don't want RFK to be a sports area. They want to turn it into a park, like a park and recreational area. So I don't know. And Dan Snyder and whoever owns the Redskins owns the land at FedEx Field and the stadium. They can just build it right across the parking lot if they wanted to. And I don't think a lot of fans know that. So, yeah. Let's see here. So we've had a lot of movements on defense. We think their front seven is going to be solidified. We have a good problem. I said we've had a good problem now, especially at linebacker, because all of these, probably a majority of these guys are going to start. So if you had to fill out week 1 starting lineup for the linebackers, what combination of linebackers would you put out there?
I would probably say as our weak side linebacker, week 1, I think it'll probably be Thomas Davis. I want it to be Reuben Foster, but I just don't think he'll be ready right away, especially with the short off season. So I think Thomas Davis probably as our weak side linebacker. And I think John Bostic will probably start as their middle linebacker and sort of command the defense. And I think, you know, he did have a lot of tackles last year, and he's a pretty solid backer. I don't really see too much from him this year. I don't see that eye-popping sort of ability at the position, but he should be pretty good. And then I think we got Cole Holcomb as our strong side linebacker. Doesn't offer too much, like in terms of pass coverage and stuff, but in terms of run stopping ability, he was all over the field last year, as you know, watching the games and stuff. And I think that should be a solid linebacker core. But I think the X factor for our entire defense is Reuben Foster, and if he can stay healthy, man, that front seven is going to be a sight to behold for sure.
Oh yeah, I think, and that's what a lot of people are failing to realize, that it's not the fact that when and if he can play, it's when he gets cleared. And he hasn't been medically cleared yet, so he's been working out. There was a good video on YouTube about him doing the stem cell treatments. I encourage anybody to go look at that. And then our secondary, I think, and I've talked about it a lot, and as Stefan Gant kind of brought it up now, our secondary is going to be, I think our secondary is better than what people are giving us credit for. I think that my guy is, and I've got the VA bias again, I think Jimmy Moreland is going to step up and rise up in this secondary, whether it's on the outside or in the inside when Kendall Fuller, might be out, it kicks to the outside for once in a while. So what do you think this secondary makeup is going to look like?
Yeah. Before I get to that, it's kind of funny because you mentioned nobody giving us credit. I think the only people, I guess, who are giving us credit is Madden, because our starting corner with Kendall Fuller is at 87, and we got Ronald Darby's at 82, so they're pretty solid on Madden. But elsewhere, nobody really talks about them. I think Kendall will probably start in the slot. He's a really superb slot cornerback in this league, and he'll do fine there. He's super young. And I think Ronald Darby will actually be our one of our starting boundary cornerbacks. And I think that will only happen until he gets injured, because it's a matter of when, not if, he gets injured at this point. And he's from the area too. He's from the DMV, so hopefully maybe playing for the hometown team could incentivize him to doing pretty well for us. We'll see. And then I think Moreland will step up this year. I think he will, but primarily at the slot cornerback position to back up Fuller. And I think Fabian Moreau will be the other outside cornerback for us. And he was actually pretty good when he moved to the outside last year. And I think that will only continue this season, especially with him not really being in the slot too much.
Yeah. Let's see. Fun fact, B Nizzle. Check that. Check Jacksonville Jaguars, B Nizzle. So that's not all the way true. Sean Davis. I like Sean Davis at the free safety spot. That's what Yemi was talking about too.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be all right. And like I said, he's a DMV guy as well. But I don't know how you were feeling when this happened. Kendall Fuller should have never left.
Yeah.
He should have never left this team. I can't tell you how mad I was that night when I found out. I was okay with Alex Smith coming here, but then when I heard what we had to give up, it was almost like I hadn't felt this cut since when the Redskins traded for Clinton Portis and sent Champ Bailey away to Denver, because I think you can always find a running back. No offense to Clinton Portis and what he did, but Denver got the better of that deal. What's up, Ready Red? So I don't know what was your thoughts like. And I hate to bring up old wounds again, but when Kendall Fuller left, did you ever think it was possible that he would come back here and play for the Burgundy and Gold?
On the move, I remember reading about it as well and just being really furious with it. I thought the Chiefs just really robbed us. They really wanted to get rid of Alex Smith. It wasn't they were really strong on doing it. They had Patrick Mahomes and waiting right behind him. So I did think we got robbed, and having to let go of Kendall Fuller, who was just coming to his own on our team. DJ Swearinger, you can say whatever you want about him, but at the time he was super high on him, and he was even devastated that they traded him. And I think him now coming back though at the same time with a Super Bowl ring with all that experience on his shoulders. I think he'll be a really good corner for us once again. And but yeah, on the move itself, I didn't really like it at the time, and still don't like it. And we sort of robbed ourselves of a solid corner for us, because Josh Norman wasn't really much the last couple of years.
And you talk about that. That's the second time in less than 10 years Andy Reid had hosed the Redskins.
McNabb, yeah.
That McNabb trade where we had to give up draft picks for it, and their draft picks didn't pan out as well. But still, we still got hosed on that deal as well. And you talk about that DJ Swearinger. A lot of people were mad at that situation, and we got a glimpse into what had actually happened 2 weeks prior to him getting cut. So you get blown out by the Giants at home, and then he said some critical remarks, whether that's right or wrong, I don't really care, because players say that stuff all the time. And Drake Gruden was getting a buff on him via text and everything. And it's like he's gonna lay hands on him or something, and then they cut him. So what did you think when you saw that text message from DJ Swearinger? Like, he finally put it up there, and then the other situation with Jay Gruden and Capri Bibbs too. What did you think about that situation?
Yeah, on the DJ Swearinger text, honestly, even now, like, I'm a little suspicious that it was Jay Gruden, because I just think that, like, for your head coach, you should probably have his phone number, once you're on the team and stuff. So I'm a little suspicious there. But if it was in fact Jay Gruden, that's kind of shady, right? Like, how could your head coach sort of text something like that? And he was really not acting professionally whatsoever in the text thread. So I think DJ Swearinger does have something there. But I think with the Capri Bibbs situation, I'm still confused about it. I thought like the reports that were going to come out with Washington Post, I thought they were going to say something about that. I thought they were going to blast Jay Gruden. And I was sort of waiting for that to happen, but his name wasn't mentioned at all in the reporting. So, the story may be true. I'm not going to be here to doubt Capri Bibbs and everything he said, but at the same time, we don't know because it hasn't been reported. Right. So,
yeah, I just thought I didn't even watch it because I tried to watch that Capri Bibbs interview on Instagram, and bro, he was talking to some kid. He was talking to some 12-year-old kid. I'm like, are you serious? Like that kills your credibility in so many ways. I was just like, dude, but granted, I did watch when they cut him. I rewatched that video, and Jay Gruden he gave the same BS answer that he gave about when he didn't start Adrian Peterson in week 1. Oh, we run with 3 running backs, and we had to say, you run with a hot hand. It doesn't matter. You are always running with a hot hand. It doesn't care. Adrian Peterson was coming off a pretty good season where he was your most consistent offensive weapon, and you're not going to start him in week 1. And guys who you start got hurt, so you had to run with Chris Thompson and everything like that. I'm like, I don't know, man. It blows my mind. Let's see here. Mountain Genetics said to you, what you said about Darby being from the area, a bunch of from the DMV and since players for team they rooted for are also overlooked assets, rarely talked about. The camaraderie, team first mentality might be next level. So I think it's good. I always like to see these Nova kids and the DMV area, these kids coming back and playing for this team. Jay Gruden will beat down third down and out. Oh my gosh. And Yemi is beating the hell out of Atlanta on Madden right now. Yeah. Let's see here. I think we touched bases on everything. Let me see here. I know there's some news that we didn't talk about. we said that we talked about the records and everything, and what good Lord, I am drawing a blank right now. Shoot, it's been a long day, man. What is what's one thing? What's one thing that this team needs to do to turn the corner?
Just one thing?
What's one thing? Yeah, what's one thing? If you're making the decision, there's one thing you can change that's not the owner. What's one thing that you would do? And y'all in the comments, what's one thing y'all would do that's not the owner? We don't get to do that.
Dang. It's a tough one. One thing. I would probably say at this point, maybe go after a free agent receiver, because I think at this late in the season, this late in the offseason, I think that's the only thing we could do really to improve our team right now. In the future, if we're talking about like what we want to see out of the Redskins like in the future and hopefully improvement in the future, I would probably say go after a stud cornerback next year, a Jalen Ramsey type, or go after another stud receiver like Ken Galladay, Juju Smith-Schuster. I think even T.Y. Hilton is a free agent. Like, I think doing that in the future would set us up for very much success, and just keep drafting well. We've done that the last couple of years. Hopefully it will continue with Kyle Smith as the de facto GM for us, but that's pretty much – I mean, there's a lot of things to touch on, but I guess the one thing right now to improve our team right now would just be to go after a free agent receiver.
Marcus Purnell, probably one of the longest subscribers. He's like, DC Sentinels real. No, Marcus, no. That's not real. That's fake. That's like the Red Cats. Did you see like the Red Cats was catching it was catching fire on Twitter because somebody made like a fake Dan Snyder account, and they had did up a press release. They did a press release, and I was like, this can't be real. And then I looked at it, I said, this is fake. I'd say it was good. I gave him a lot of credit, but I think that I was like, no, this isn't good. Manfred said, make the name Red Wolves. I got you. We need to play a bit of 4-2-5 scheme on occasions. Our young corners can show their skills. What do you guys think? I think I remember you saying to AM Hunter on Juan Gotti's. I agree with you on that one. What's up, 1,000 subs with no videos challenge? Let's see. We need a black owner in free agency, offensive lineman, and a receiver. You got to pick one, Franklin. O-line, fix the O-line. Will Calvin Harmon ever have a breakout year? Yes, next year he'll have it. And I would name Kyle Smith the GM. Says Ogun. Yeah, and that's what I think has gotten lost in everything is the job that Kyle Smith has been doing. Like, in spite of the issues that are going on and everything like that, they put together a good draft board. He did put together some good players that they brought in and everything like that. I like Kyle Smith, and they just need to go ahead and make him the general manager. You know, we know his boss is going to be Ron Rivera, but just let him take over in that respect, because what he's done helping out with the last couple of drafts.
Yeah, definitely agree there.
Yeah. Sorry, man, Frida. I'm sorry. I apologize. Hire Gus Johnson to do our radio play-by-play. No, Mark, I can't do good. I like Gus. Gus is good on TV, but if I'm driving somewhere and it might be a night game and something, and then I hear, I might slam on my brakes or something. I can't do Gus Johnson. Yeah, and fullback, H-back position. That's what AM Hunter was saying.
Maybe,
but I like that. Get Thad Moss, man.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Moss. Yeah. Al Galdi. I don't know about Al Galdi. Al Galdi's too boring for me. I like, he needs to be back on there with Doc, because Doc is if you ever listen to Doc Walker in the morning, he's gone off the rail the last couple of times I watched him. He's like the doctor. But yeah, I don't know. But I'm excited, and I'm done with Redskins talk. But I know you cover the DMV.
Yeah.
So you talk about a lot of this stuff. So Nationals, big game tomorrow, opening night against the Yankees. Scherzer going up against one of our familiar foes and homeboy who played for
Garrett Cole.
Yeah, Garrett Cole, who was with the Astros last year. What are you expecting in what have you seen out of the team so far this in these couple of simulation games? That does it give you hope, or is there a little bit of concern? What are you thinking?
I mean, the simulation games haven't given me too much hope, but just looking at the roster itself, I think we will still be strong this year, even with the 60-game season. Losing Anthony Rendon, tough loss, obviously. He was one of the best players in the entire National League last year, and he was definitely our team MVP, so that's going to hurt. But, you know, we have a lot of good players. We have Juan Soto, who hopefully will improve this year and be a really good superstar player for us for years to come. So I think we're really good. And I think with baseball, right, it's all about pitching. And we have arguably the best rotation in all of baseball. We have Scherzer, Strasburg, who could be an ace on any other team. We have Corbin, again, another ace, and Sanchez, who isn't too bad, isn't too shabby. So
that's my cousin. Leave my cousin alone.
Sanchez, yep. But I think we'll be good. It's gonna be tough tomorrow just because we're playing the Yankees and they got Garrett Cole on top of that stud roster that they had last year. So it's gonna be tough. But I just can't wait until we play the Astros because I mean that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, man. I think you talk about Corbin. I think if it's not for what Corbin did in Game 7 after Scherzer and everything, I don't think we're talking about them wearing them gold trimmed uniforms tomorrow night. Let's see here. Doc was drinking wine on air for a while. Yeah, you're right, man. Doc is wild. Nope, Kyle Smith messed up that Trent Williams trade. At San Fran still celebrating that trade. I see where you're coming from, B. Nizzle, but I will disagree with that, and I want you to chime in too, Nati. That was a collaboration of the old guard, and then you had this new guard coming in, and they were really screwed. That's like when your house goes underwater or something like that, and you got this house, and then the market crashes pretty much. The Redskins were backed into a corner coming, I think, with Trent Williams because they should have traded his butt last year, took your lumps like you did in that 3-13 season last year. But what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just plain out sucks that we have to lose the Silverback, one of the best left tackles in all football. But I think, man, that situation was just dragged out way too long. And, you know, the compensation wasn't great. 5th-round pick this year, 3rd-round pick next year. But at the same time, we had to move on from arguably the greatest Redskins player last decade. And it sucks, but now we hopefully got Sadiq Charles could be a future left tackle for us, or we might even draft someone next year with the guy out of Oregon. I forget his name, but maybe if we're drafting high, we could get him. So it sucks, again, that we lost him, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I just that killed me. But I got to the fact that I was like, I understand what he was doing. You know, they said he had that cancer that the doctors overlooked. And, you know, he has every right to be mad. But at the end of the day, you got other people that are dependent on you to be a leader. That was the reason why you had a C on your chest. Yeah. So, you know, I wish him the best of luck with his original offensive coordinator and Kyle Shanahan. I hope they choke and they are, you know. So I mean, he's only going to be good for what 10 games, 9 games. Fred Smoot in the booth. Oh my, I love Smoot. Could he call color? That's a lot. Yeah, y'all, that was a good one. That was a good one. D Has, man, D Has. That remind me of when I was on the Love Boat. Yeah, hey man, that's the. Where you think he learned the Love Boat stuff from? He learned it from Dan and them. That's where he got it from. Who's a young Nats prospect you expect to break out this year? I think what's the name could do well. I mean, Key Boom, and I think what's his name, Fade, who showed up a couple of times last year. I think he could maybe turn a corner this year. 20 plus strikeouts with 2 beasts. Golden attitude. I hear you, A.M. Hunter. B Nizzle says no. The new CBA took all of Trent's leverage away. It's fair enough. Redskins trade Morgan and $2.5 million in cash consideration for David Njoku. Yeah, what do you think about that? David Njoku. Yeah, like, do you think would you call Cleveland and try to deal to get him?
That's a fair trade. Although I would say if we're trading Morgan Moses, say whatever you want about him, and trust me, I've said a lot. If we trade him, who's going to be our starting right tackle? Right? Like we don't really have a left tackle right now. Don't have a left guard. We hope we have one, but we don't. So our left side of the line is not good. We have Brandon Sheriff, who's solid. We have Roulier, but I mean, now you want our right side of the line to be bad? Like, yeah. I mean, what protection is Haskins going to get?
I guess you got Cornelius Lucas, and then but I tell you one thing. I don't know if somebody has the biggest case of where in the world is Carmen Sandiego than Jerron Christian. Where the heck has this brother been at? Like, I don't get it. Like, where is he at? He like, you never hear anything about him. He was a 3rd round pick a few years ago, but nothing. Does he have fat? Is he too fat? Does he got club feet? I don't know, but like, it's been wild with him. I remember when they signed him, he was like the last pick to sign for the Burgundy and Gold too, I think.
Yeah. It's a 3rd round pick. I didn't like it right after we drafted him, and I definitely don't like it now.
Lord have mercy. I didn't get that. Penny Swell. Let's see here. You know what I can say? He can't take his crybaby. He can. Dub said, "You know what I say? He can't. He can take his crybaby ass on." I hear you. Franklin agrees with A.M. Hunter. B Nizzle agreed with you. Country. And then great player Franklin. Franklin, big time. I hear you. That's not a lie. But yeah, I just. Morgan Moses, he's probably the biggest enigma on the team anyway. We don't know what he's going to be, when he's going to be it. He can be bomb, but his availability, he hasn't missed a start since 2015. He's available. So it's like the biggest thing. He's like the most consistently available player, but then he does dumb stuff. Like, I'll never forget when I had it out with him was 2 things. That play against San Francisco where he did not move in case Keenum got ate up. And then when he tried to defend the offensive lineman after Haskins told him, what do I need to do to help y'all out? What do I need to do? What can I do to help y'all out with the Junkies, man? I was like, I said, Mo, come on now, dude. You got to do a little bit better fitness. He's like, shh. Like I said, bro, and he went to UVA. I'm like, dummies don't go to UVA. Even if you play sports, dummies don't go and graduate from UVA. Like, I mean, it's a different. That's why they sucked at football so long. They produce a lot of good football players, like the Brickenshaw Ferguson, but you don't go there just because you don't have sense. You got to have a little bit of sense. So that scared me with Morgan Moses, man. And I'll go back to a DC sports question here for you. You and I talked before we got on here about the Wizards, and they are pretty much depleted with star power. Bertans didn't come back, and then the man himself, the face of the franchise. Some people might say John Wall. I say Brad Beal. What do you think? What do you see out of this team inside the bubble. How far do you think they go?
Sorry to say it for the DMV sports fans, but I think it's just going to be a short time in Orlando, and we're going to play a couple games, and that's all we can ask for, right? With this pandemic, like it's good to see some NBA basketball, but at the same time, losing the Latvian Laser, already losing Bradley Beal, right, early on in this whole crisis, and John Wall, right? So I don't think we'll do too well. I saw that Rui had a pretty good simulation game scrimmage game today, and he's definitely a bright spot for us for now and also for the future, and I think he'll be a really good player for us. But at the same time, he can't do it alone. He's really young. He doesn't have that experience, and to not have a guy like John Wall feeding him the ball and throwing those alley-oops, it's gonna be tough for our Wizards.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it too. I told you I watched it. They had Bonga and Bryant shooting threes, corner threes. I'm like, what are you doing, guys? But I understand it's a scrimmage and everything. B. Nizzle brings up a good point. Morgan Moses was the first one to step up and say Gruden was foolish for benching AP. That is 110% correct, and he was right for that. He was right to step up for that, I think. But I'm surprised Jay didn't cut him after that like he did DJ Swearinger. If we trade Moses or even trade Kerrigan, we could save about 15, 18 million in caps. Would you guys trade them? I think Merrill Garrett said Jerome Christian will start at right tackle. No. Hell to the no. But what do you think? Is that a fair trade? Would you deal Kerrigan or Moses to save that cap money?
I think at this point in the offseason, let's just keep Kerrigan. I'm not just saying that because he was pretty much the only Redskins jersey that I had for a while. He's pretty much that stabilizing presence for us. But, I mean, he does offer that veteran experience that we sort of want out of the edge position. And I get that the salary caps for him is $11.5 million or something like that. And that's pretty high for a backup edge player. But at the same time, when you got Chase Young on one end, Montez Sweat on the other, you want that veteran leadership that will sort of guide them and sort of help them become the players that we want to see them be and we hope to see them be. So I think keeping Kerrigan is a smart move right now, especially with us being in such an uncertain time and not knowing much about our players because of the short off season. But I think Moses, trading him again, if we're talking about like strictly the player, sure, we should probably trade him. But at the same time, if you look at the context of the team, the roster of the team, we don't really have anyone to back him up. You talked about Christian. You know how much he is in terms of not being a great player. So
yeah, no, I agree with you. Stefan said Morgan Moses probably holding somebody right now as we speak. See, that's that culture they're trying to change, Stefan, at Redskins Park, man. You need to cut that out. Kerrigan will have 9 sacks this season. Bet Mountain Genetics. I mean, I could see that, but I don't think. I think he'd be more around the 5 range. I think the person that benefits from this new 4-3 defense is Montez Sweat. Yep. I think he's going to lead the team in sacks this year.
Yep.
And Chase will be a close second. Like it'll probably be like within 2 or 3 sacks of each other. But I think Montez is going to do it because people are worried about what Chase can do. So I don't know, man, but that's how I feel about that one. Let's see here. Damn, Nati. Keep him if you got that jersey, Slim. That's why, man, I learned a long time ago. I said I don't do jerseys anymore. I stopped doing it like when I was like before I got in high school. I was like, never again. I said I'll never buy a jersey ever again because you never know.
But
B. Nizzle said, "Oh, go ahead. Sorry."
No. With the jersey, I was actually like before the purchase, I was going into it thinking, what Redskins player can I rep the longest and know that will be on the team for the longest and won't be cut, won't be traded? And I just thought that Ryan Kerrigan, I think this was like 2015, 2016. He was that stabilizing presence for us for so long, and he wasn't that old at that point. So I was like, you know what? Let me get a Kerrigan jersey, rep my team, and rep a player that I can rep for, a couple of years now with with the team. So.
Shoot. Let's see here. B Nizzle. Yimmy said Jordan is free. I don't know which Jordan you talking. I know you're not talking about Jordan Reed. And let's see here. Outlaw, he said this earlier, so I need to read this. I still say Trent Williams would have protected Dwayne Haskins' blindside. Yeah, you're right. Let's see here. Warpath, I'm still thinking the league will take some of the money. I don't think so. They might reduce like the cap limit, but I don't know if that would necessarily be considered taking that cap money. So I don't know. Our cap would be fine once Alex Smith is let go. Yeah, Alex Smith just needs to go at this point. There's no way he can play ever again, or should he? Barrett Downing says, I only do throwbacks. I agree with you. Final 68-0. Redskins beat the Falcons. Yimmy. He playing on rookie probably. That's another thing I wanted to say, because people watch my rant, right? And nobody called me out on it. So I had to I called my own self out on it. I said Dan Snyder would still screw this team up if this was Madden and it was on rookie and he didn't have a salary cap. He'd still finish 3-13. I said 13-3.
Yeah,
it didn't make sense. But I was just like, crap. I said I messed that up after I'd uploaded it. Kerrigan deserves to retire a skin. Yeah, you're right. I agree. Well, he won't retire a skin. He'll retire a Washington player. Yeah, thoughts on Terry Bateman hire? We talked about this, but Tone just came in here. So I'll let you go ahead and say what you thought about Terry Bateman there.
Yeah, I thought initially, like without any context, I thought it was a good hire. But after looking at some tweets and saying that he was with the Redskins for a good betterment of like the last decade, and he's still part of that old guard that we're trying to remove ourselves from with this new sort of era under the Ron Rivera, right, the head coach. I don't think it's that great of a hire. I think we could have done better, but at the same time, I understand where Dan Snyder is coming from. He wants a guy that he knows really well, especially in these uncertain times. So my opinions right now are pretty mixed, but I'm leaning more towards like not really happy with the move.
Yeah, I think it's awful. Yeah. I would I'm still like, when I looked at this, I'm like, I said, what the? And they came, they were like, you okay, Corey? You okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I just had a senior moment. But how many minutes? Yeah, he was on pro. Yimmy was on pro. You was on rookie, bro. Stop it. That was a classic rant. Nobody heard you. I don't know if it was classic, B-Diz. It was just like, I just had to come in there and talk about what's Doug Williams' role. He's is he pro personnel?
I think so, yeah.
Senior he's VP. Pro personnel. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Killer style, Yimmy. Yep. That was like he like Yimmy had that on pro. That's all it is. But shoot, you have anything that you want to talk? Oh, we got one. I got one more DC. See, I spread these DC sports questions out for you too.
Yeah,
probably the best team in recent memory in DC as a franchise, the Washington Capitals, getting ready to start back on August 1st. They're going to play in the round robin, where they'll play the top three seeds in the East for seeding into the next thing. I think that this came at a good time. Like the season stoppage came at a good time, because if you remember, the Capitals were declining in play. They were getting up a lot of goals and everything. What do you think you're going to see out of? What are we going to see out of the Capitals going forward into this playoff? How deep do they actually go? Do you think they can make another run at the Cup?
Yeah, I think the Caps could make another run at the Cup, and last year was sort of a disappointment, coming off that Stanley Cup win. And I remember watching the games and being pretty devastated that they lost, but having, I recognize that, they just won the year prior. But I think with Alex Ovechkin, like, he's our leader. He's been our leader for the last, almost my entire childhood, honestly. So I have faith in him, and him, Nicholas Backstrom, other players that are still going to be on this team. And I know on my channel, Nathan Kim, and his brother Noah Kim, they sort of cover the Capitals and stuff, and they've done a really good job in covering the team and like the state of the Washington Capitals. And I think we both are in the same boat in saying that they could go pretty far this year, but I don't know about Stanley Cup. We'll see.
Yeah. And Franklin said, yes, because there's no drama. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. My boy, one of my favorite players on there during the playoffs was Kuznetsov.
Oh, no.
And then I started calling him Cocaine Netsov after that because he was like, I said, Evgeny. I was like, they do that in Pittsburgh. We don't do that here. Y'all got enough white powder on the ice. You don't need to be snorting it up. Yeah. But that's the only drama they've really had. So,
it's sad too. Yeah. It's sad too, bro, because like he was my favorite player to watch. Like,
yeah,
see all that.
He was down. Right, dude. Like, I love that we've got Kovalchuk now. I've always liked him when he was with the Devils and stuff. So I really like that. And him and Ovi are good buddies. And Backy, I think and we're older team, so we've had time to rest up and. So I really I really think they can go far. I think that they were one of the better teams in the East. Mm-hmm. Not a lot of teams put fear in me outside of the obvious. So you're talking about Tampa Bay and Pittsburgh, just because our history of Pittsburgh and just because Tampa Bay always seems to be loaded. But they don't. There's not really a concern with me in the East, and we'll see. We will see. Yeah, Kuznetsov, cocaine nuts off penis. So yeah, he just like his favorite line. He's a blue liner, but he loved to lift up those white lines. So that was it. That was his biggest problem. You see his video with Kuzi. Is that line? Oh God, I didn't know about that. His Outlaw King says his hockey team is the Red Wings. They haven't been good in a while now, but yeah. So any parting thoughts before we've been here? It's almost 8:00 Eastern Standard Time, and I've had a blast. I don't know about you, but I've had a blast, man, talking to you and chit-chatting with this. So we are definitely going to have to do this again, especially when the season comes on. So you have an open invitation whenever. So don't hesitate. Just shoot me a message on Twitter and we'll get this set up. But yeah, any final thoughts from you?
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. And for sure, we're going to get hopefully another video come season time. But I guess my final thought would just be, this last week and a half has been tough for us, Redskins / Washington football fans. And, we got the name change. We got the sexual harassment claims against the organization. And, what's new with Washington, right? But at the same time, we have this fan base, the strong fan base who I believe will stay strong despite, the name change and despite everything that's going on. And I think with that fan base, that will take us very far. And hopefully we see brighter days. And I really do think we will with Ron Rivera at the helm. And that's all I got to say. Thank you so much again, Corey, for having me on. And that's it.
Hey, man, the pleasure's mine, man. I appreciate it. Just to have another sharp mind on here. Make sure y'all go and sub him up. Follow him on Twitter. It is DMVSportsZone, both of them. And I did leave his link in the description of this video. Show him some support, guys. He really I think you're because you just recently started the channel, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So
after the draft,
I'm gonna be mad at my family over here if you haven't subscribed to him, because I know he was sitting at he was getting ready to hit 100. And if he ain't at 100, I'm gonna be hurting over here, man. And don't forget, I am still gonna do a giveaway. I'm thinking about retooling it. It might not be a jersey, but it may be a gift card in the form of the same value of a jersey, just because of what's going on. And that's easier, and you don't have to wait in the mail, and you can go and get what you want. And if you're not a fan of the Redskins, Ready Red, and you actually win, not saying Ready Red will win, you can go and do what you want to do with that. So that's what I'm going to do. So we're almost to 1,000. We're less than 150 away. So I appreciate
sub him
that.
Up too.
Yeah. So yeah, Dub's already subbed. We know that, man. He subbed up. He eating that ice cream right there right now. Thank you, Marcus. Appreciate you too. AM Hunter, B Nizzle, Franklin, Dubs, Jimmy, Outlaw King, Skins fan came up in here. I said Franklin Walker. I always got to do this because that's just the extra touch. Mountain Genetics coming in here. Barrett coming in. Meryl Garrett, the First Lady. Anna was up in here. My lone moderator right now. So, Gun, Manfreda, appreciate it. I got it right this time. Yeah, thank you all. And if I miss you, I don't, like I said, Big Simple was in here. If I didn't say him as well, and then yeah, but we appreciate you guys. Go sub them up. Nati, I appreciate you, brother. Be good, be safe, have fun watching the Nats tomorrow. And maybe we'll have something good to talk about in the Twitter world and everything. And y'all, actually, I did a good video. I kind of do TikTok a little bit, and I don't know if you've seen the Vikings TikTok. I'll just show it to y'all. Let me pull it up here real quick. So you can find me, Sanchez405 on Twitter. Yeah. So watch this. That's Jim Vance. So from DC. So watch this. There's Kirk Cousins throwing. For you old school folks, that's Marsha Brady, right? That's Marsha Brady from the Brady Bunch. So Kirk hit him in the face. So enjoy, you guys. Blessings, peace, love, peace, and hail. We'll be talking to you all real soon. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, sub up, Nati. I'm going to say it again. Sub them up. I appreciate it. Love you guys. We are out.